Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women, the podcast where we uncork the stories and insights of exceptional female leaders from all walks of life. Our goal is to serve up wisdom, tips, and inspiration, and to support each other in rediscovering ourselves and what sets our souls on fire. We'll also share personal memories, paired with friends and a favorite beverage. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe that the best stories are served up over a glass of wine or a cocktail. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots.
Susan, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I appreciate you being here.
Sure. Thanks, Penny, for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, your story fascinates me because you've had a lot of fun. You've done a lot of different things in your life. And would you please share again how you got started? You were a ballet dancer back in in the day, right?
Yeah.
And dancing in New York?
No, I grew up in South Carolina, and there was a good ballet company in Charleston at the time. And I worked with them from, I guess I started taking classes when I was about 11 and then worked through high school. And for a year or two after high school was part of that ballet company.
Oh.
But then the company folded. It just did.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time we moved to New York, and I moved there. I took one or two classes at some place, but I was too old by then to keep going in ballet. You have to make it into the situation early on.
Yeah.
And so I really was in New York just to experience New York and go see theater, dance, opera, take advantage of all that. So I did that. And then at some point I decided, after, doing office jobs there, some good, some not. I started out an insurance company, but then a friend got me into the Met Opera Guild office to work there. So that was a lot more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Opera. But then, I decided I really wanted to do something of my own and get back into theater work, but I knew I wasn't going to dance. So having a background in sewing and such, I decided, okay, I'm going to go to school and study the clothing construction and pattern making officially, and then start my own business doing dressmaking or something. And I didn't want to do that, but I did want to get back into theater with costumes. So that's how it kind of led into that. And I did that in New York for a variety of things, small theater production, 30-year anniversary of remaking the costumes for the Fantastics.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I did wardrobe assistant stuff on ABC after school specials and movies occasionally. So it was just a hodgepodge of things. And then my husband and I moved down to Florida for him to be here to work in theater. And that's when I started doing costume design here in Florida. And that was back in 93. And we started at Florida Studio Theater, where he was. That was my first design job here. I also started at that point working with the Players Theater in Sarasota, doing designs there. And I became costume shop manager at the Players for 9 years or something.
Wow.
And then, was still doing an occasional show at Florida Studio. Just began to get into understanding the people side of it and liking that. Somewhere along the way there, I got into a network marketing organization. And through that, discovered what I'm doing now, which is with the Kolbe Consulting. Kolbe is the name of it.
Okay. And that was after after working in theater and doing costume design for several years, then you found Kolbe through the theater through the network marketing, right?
Through the network marketing. Yes.
Okay. And what
that kind of fell to the side shortly after, but the Kolbe continued. for me. I didn't have to do it. So it was a separate thing. But I stayed with it.
Yeah. What drew you to Kolbe? What drew you to this company?
Well, I had the opportunity to take the initial index, this Kolbe A index, and it really is not personality and it's not learned skills or intelligence, but it's a third part of the mind about how you actually take action to get something done. And it's very, very strictly task-based. But when I took the assessment, it was so eye-opening and validating. It was like, that's me. That's exactly what I need. What I don't do. This thing is good. And it's something that I found that was easy to understand and start understanding and applying it on a day-to-day basis. So at that point, I then became certified to be a consultant, to be able to share it with other people and consult with individuals, small teams. It can go on to bigger teams.
Okay.
So that's when it started. And that was back about 2004. And I have just been kind of off and on as I was doing other work, but wanting always to keep in touch, keep certified, keep sharing it when I could. And then I guess, I was costume shop manager at the Players. Then I left that for a while for all this work. And then I went back to costume shop management through FST, Florida Studio Theater. I did it there for about 7.5 years. That's when my husband was starting his publishing business for book writing.
And you were both entrepreneurs at the same time.
Yeah, and that doesn't work. It just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it was a good combination. I could kind of do the other consulting work when I could, but with theater work, you don't do much else.
Yeah.
Too demanding.
You described, going back up a bit to the costuming, you described to me one time we were chatting about how you used rocks and minerals. Is that right?
Yes.
For inspiration, right? Can you describe that story?
Yeah, that's like probably one of my favorite projects I've done just because it was different. This was for a group in New York. It was an early music production. And that meant, early, we're talking like the 1400s.
A period piece.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And it was going to be done in a church with only candlelight, no electric lighting, no stage lighting, but candlelight.
Wow.
So I had a challenge of having to make the clothing show up well. And I knew I needed to get reflective, sparkly things, but being early music, you can't do sequins and rhymes. It does not work.
No.
But I've always loved rocks and minerals, geodes and things like that, crystals, all that sort of stuff, just because they're interesting and beautiful. So I decided to use that as my inspiration for the different costumes and characters. And I picked a different rock or mineral for like each different character and what colors came out of that and kind of shapes, and then kind of did some creating materials based on that. And it was really interesting to bring that in. It was good.
So
it turned out well. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I can almost picture it being in a church with the candles flickering and the acoustics and just an immersive experience.
Yeah, it was good. I even got, I'll brag a little, I got a positive mention review in New York Magazine.
Oh,
through it. So
in New York Magazine. Wow, very cool. And that was your baby. I mean, you were the one that was deciding what the costumes were going to be, what the fabrics were going to be, all of the design of it, right?
Oh yeah.
Very
definitely.
Cool. So creative.
From the idea, I mean, you have a director to work with, but it's basically, okay, here's what we're doing. Here's the script. Here's the music. What can you come up with?
Wow. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
So creative.
Very. And that's the fun part of the costume designing I got to do over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you use your creativity in what you do through the Kolbe stuff that you're doing now, in analyzing and helping people?
Well, I think one of the important things about it is that the understanding that everyone is creative and they're creative in a different way. We think of creativity as the arts or music and things like that. Mm-hmm. But no. Lawyers are creative, accountants are creative, real estate agents. Everybody has to be creative in what they do.
Yeah.
So kind of tapping into people is what became to be more and more important. The costumes and the clothes and the handling, all of that was fun, but not as satisfying as working with people.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Especially, working with asters and volunteers and all of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Huh. The other thing too, that talking about creativity, I feel like, of course, everyone's creative, but when you look at children playing up to a certain age, everyone is so creative in their minds, just pretend and playing. And we lose some of that along the way as life beats us down.
Yes. And, that's one thing about what I do with the Kolbe assessment is the whole idea is to be freedom is understanding yourself, how to be free, how to be yourself. Oh. And that's the key to it. And of course, that can get kind of worked out of kids as they grow up.
Yeah. Conform.
So, yeah. So we have, adults who have these innate, hardwired ways of taking action that they don't always acknowledge and work with because they've been told to do things different ways that aren't right for them. Mm-hmm. And that's what I kind of work with fundamentally.
Can you give us an example of someone that may have been, told that they were supposed to do things a certain way, but that wasn't innate to them or wasn't inherent, wasn't comfortable, and that you were able to bring that out?
Yeah. I remember one client I had a bit while back who was struggling to figure out what she wanted to do work-wise, and she was having a really hard time deciding. And so she took the index. I sat down with her and worked through all of the different aspects of it and how that related to her and what she was interested in and wanted to do. And it was eye-opening for her, totally eye-opening in that it helped her define a direction that she could go in without feeling pulled to what she's done in the past simply because she could do it, but didn't want to. And I do not remember, exactly what she was doing, but she was definitely not on a path to find her way or make good decisions.
To feel successful.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. We also, just recently, I had a couple retired recently from the military. They're still young, but they're starting their own home renovation and, resale business.
Okay. Phase 2, a different career altogether.
Definitely. Yeah. And they were having struggles talking about finances. They weren't fighting about it, but they would, one was very much lots of ideas and ready to go and put it out there and jump on things. And the other was like, well, we have to figure this out and look at the costs and make these and so they were kind of butting heads a little bit.
Hello, friend. Let's be real. When's the last time you did something just for you? Enter Wine Camp 2026. We're talking wine tastings, fire pit chats, sunset dinner cruises, and 0 cooking required. Just show up, sip something fabulous, and reconnect with the version of you who loves adventure, sisterhood, and a glass of local Riesling in hand. Sweet, dry, or both. No judgment here. We're heading to New York's gorgeous Finger Lakes, July 31st through August 2nd. And yes, it's as dreamy as it sounds. Secure your spot at pennyforyourshots.com/wine camp. Don't wait. Room options are limited. And my crystal ball says we're going to sell out. Bring your besties or fly solo like the fabulous free spirit you are. You'll leave with new favorites either way. Wine Camp 2026 is calling. The only question is, are you in? Find out more at pennyforyourshots.com/wine camp.
And working with the assessment, and then another separate report based on their assessment is how they work together financially on their finances. It's very specific. It takes their information and says, here's how you look at money and spending it and saving it and earning it or whatever, and what's different. And that was very enlightening and very specifically effective for them going forward, because they did change how they communicated with each other on the financial picture.
Wow.
And it worked a lot better for them.
I can imagine that could be uncomfortable for people to talk about, especially if you're a married couple working together day by day, and then you're going home and trying, having your normal conversations.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
wow.
Well, one of the things it does is, no matter whether it's finances or some other project, anything you're trying to accomplish, something you're striving to do, just understanding how you take action as opposed to how another person takes action can help you give them space to do it the way they need to do it, and also be clear about how you need to do it. And it's especially helpful with communication, of course.
Yeah. And understanding, it sounds like you would have more maybe compassion for the other person's point of view.
Right.
Knowing that, well, that's how they do things.
Exactly. And it takes the stress off of you and them.
Right.
It suddenly just lets you step back and be relaxed about, okay, this is what I need from this, and I can be clear about stating that. This is what the other person needs, and I can help them get that, or wait until they do get that before we can move forward. So it just becomes a process that's not so us against them, me against you, locking horns that way.
Okay. So this assessment then would be helpful for not only teams that are working together, but then is it also good personally for like families or
it doesn't just everything. It just starts with individuals. So yes, it's great for couples to understand where they're going to overlap, where they're going to be doing the same things at the same time or not, and how that plays out. So there's a lot of the step back from, why aren't you doing it this way? Because this is the way I think it should be done.
That's the way I would do it.
Yes. There's relationship pieces to it. There's a wonderful secondary report based on two people's initial A indexes that really talks about, to each person, Mary, this is what John is going to be doing at this point, and this is what you're going to be doing. And John, this is what Mary is going to be doing at this point. And it really can lay it out for people about how that other person needs to communicate and how you need to communicate to them.
Okay.
So yeah, it's interactive with all kinds of situations.
So
family businesses.
Oh, sure. I could even see maybe like roommates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like division of tasks and mapping out what needs to be done and who's better at this task versus that one. And
that's right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. A good example is, two different people. One organizes the spices in the spice rack by alphabetically, and the other one just kind of throws them back on the counter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm familiar.
You understand, and then, make decisions about how you want to deal with that going forward.
Yeah.
With a different a different level of understanding the other person.
And not take, sure. Yeah. And not, so it sounds to me like it takes away some of the personal, like taking things personally. Like,
right.
If I know that my team member or my coworker or my spouse is, this is the way they do things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing that to tick you off.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And the one thing it makes very clear in this is that the way you operate, the way you get things done is a need. It's not a want. It's not something you're going to change. It's a need that you will always do it that way. Yeah.
Wow. Where did that come from?
It's just a part of your brain that's like, you've got the affective part that's the personality and values and motivation, and you've got the cognitive part that's your intelligence and skills and training. Mm-hmm. But this is a third part of the mind that it's instinct based.
Okay.
You can't measure instincts, but it's based on how you instinctively act.
Wow.
And you're born that way, and you always do it the same way.
Huh. Is some of the stuff passed down, like from your, like hereditary, like the way your parents did things, or?
No. That's surprising.
It is surprising.
Even with twins, they can be different.
Really?
So it works out across the population, and they've taken this into many different cultures and languages and all of that sort of thing. About 20% of the people will fall initiating in each of 4 different modes, and it's kind of a balance. And it does not matter. Doesn't matter race, gender, where you're from, nothing. It's just totally individual.
Really?
I guess it's kind of like fingerprints because it's just you.
Wow.
Nobody else, So yeah.
This is fascinating. Part of what's going through my mind is, like, in my wine business, I build my team of wine people who love to share the love of wine as well.
Sure.
Typically, I gravitate to people who are like me. Mm-hmm. And I think I attract people who are very similar.
Right.
Yes. Which is great. It's super fun. Yes. I like me.
Yes, of course. It's a good place to be.
But I'm, it would maybe be a stronger team. Maybe other people having other strengths to do more analytical things, or be more, some people share more wine facts or more, the wine making side of things versus the romantic storytelling side of things. So
exactly.
So this kind of describes how you look at what you do, and so how can I use the tool if I'm hiring people, or if I'm looking for people to complete or complement people on my team? How would the tool be useful there?
Well, the first thing you do is find out who you are yourself to taking the assessment. Uh-huh. So that's the baseline. And then the point you made about you hire people that you like to work with because you like them, because they do things the way you do, and that's fun, which is okay to a point, but you need other strengths on the team, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. So once you understand who you are, then you really, if you're looking at a hiring situation and there is a portion of this, the right fit program for getting the right person in a job, but you can hire based on that. You do need to go through the process, and it's your understanding, your Kolbe A results. Mm-hmm. And then you take an assessment that's a little short quiz kind of related to this that defines the job you're looking for.
Okay.
It spells out what particularly you need to have done in that position. And then candidates that you're maybe talking to, and let's say you have 2 or 3 people that you like and you're considering, then they would take the A index, and they can be rated against your C job requirements as to whether they will do them or not. They can be rated A, B, C. You can hire based on that information.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So by understanding yourself, what you need to bring into the team. Do you need that analytical person? Do you need somebody that's going to do the in-depth research on wines and vineyards and all that sort of thing?
Mm-hmm.
You can define that very clearly and then have someone rate against that definition to find a more successful fit. And it really has helped companies with turnover.
I'm sure.
People stay longer. They're happier because they're doing what comes naturally to their way of taking action. And they're contributing more. And they're bringing their best selves to work. So there's no quiet quitting in those situations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you mention there are 4 pillars? Is that what you called it?
There are.
Can you describe that?
Yeah. There are 4 different modes.
Okay.
And 3 levels within each mode.
Wow.
And it's important to understand that there's no good or bad, no better or worse. It's just how you take action in each of those 12 sections. But the 4 modes are fact finder, which is how you gather, store, and evaluate information.
Okay.
The follow through is how you develop systems, how you organize, maintain systems, or adapt to systems if you're not a system builder. The quick start is the person who is much more of a risk taker.
Okay.
They deal with uncertainty well, and they are much more in the idea world, promoting ideas and looking future. And then the last is the implementer, which is the person who is very much more hands-on and can either work with building and constructing things, or they can visualize physical solutions. They can visualize a room setup, or they actually be the one to set up the room.
People who do well at puzzles. Maybe.
Probably. Well, yes. If the puzzle's very
physical.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe
like
they
a block or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the big wooden puzzles. A lot of the, in the implementer area, you will find this in a lot of construction and like carpentry. Think of a cabinet maker.
Yes.
Or, you ask them, well, when is this going to be finished? And they don't know because it might depend on how many times they have to sand the surface or how long the glue is going to dry or, all of those physical things. So they're the most initiating in that kind of mode.
Okay.
So you've got 4 modes and then you've got 3 levels within each mode. So the higher the number, the 7 through 10 really is the initiating mode. If you come up in that range number wise, that means you initiate in that way. And that's the first thing you go to when you're trying to solve.
Okay.
If you're in the, say, 1 to 3, it means that you take shortcuts. Let's see, in the fact finder, you would not need all the in-depth information. You just want to cut to the bottom line. You need information.
Okay.
Quick. So then in the middle range on anything, it means that you adapt well to either direction for a period of time. But generally, there is a good mix of like 1 or possibly 2 initiating modes and 1 or 2 that are in the reacting or the counteracting areas. So yeah, it's very clearly laid out. Each one of those 12 blocks has a very specific skill, way of taking action.
Wow.
Attached to it. So very, very clear. And actionable, immediately actionable.
Okay. So let's say you're a manager and you are using this with your team and it shows you who has the different skill sets, the different ways of working. How do they learn to work together then, knowing what their strengths are?
Right.
How do you put them together in that puzzle piece?
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's different things that the results address. The first one is communication. Each mode, the person tends to communicate in a different way, such as with Fact Finder, they will communicate in writing. Like lots of notes, lots of reading, lots of, long emails.
Yeah.
Not short emails. So lots of writing. The follow through, which is the systems portion, works on timelines. They'll look at what happened before, where something is now, and where it needs to be at the end.
A linear.
So they work with linear, organizing schedules, calendaring, working towards closure on a project,
project management,
all that sort of thing.
Okay.
The quick start is much more about spoken word, and like that's me. And I don't know what I'm going to say until I hear it come out of my mouth. So I do not memorize speeches. That will never happen. But it's verbal communication. And then with the implementer, it is more likely to be a physical way of presenting something. That's the person who will draw a sketch on a napkin or build a model or some physical way.
They'll show you how to do something instead of tell you how to do something.
Yeah. I had a great example of that with my son, who he's in a result that is called a mediator, which means he does not initiate in any one mode. It's unusual, but highly valued because they're good working with everybody.
Adaptable.
Yeah, very. But in terms of the implementer, I had to be out and drive his car, which is the stick shift. And I hadn't done that in years and years. So I was, kind of getting it. But he then, we were going back into the house and he stopped at the front door and he said, okay, here's what you have to do. He used the panels on the door to indicate to me where, how to get to reverse, how to get to this gear, by physically doing that on the door. And it was just like, who else would do that? So you begin to identify certain ways people take action.
Okay.
And that's in the communication thing. And then the time part is important because how you initiate and then what your next different levels are at is kind of in a timeline so that it shows that you will start working on a project and spend like a lot of time on that if you're in that mode, but then you'll move to this next mode and spend some time there and through all four. So when you compare that timeline to someone else's timeline, you really get a sense of, okay, that person is going to be spending a lot more time digging up information than I would. I got to let them do that.
Yeah.
And they can give me the bottom line, but they also do need to do their work to get the information.
Yeah.
So there's a time component that's very, very applicable in the communication process and understanding not only how someone does something, but when and how long and what their process is.
So your coworker may need more time to process the data.
Right.
Come to a solution. Right. You don't need them to tell you all those different steps if you're a different processing kind of person.
Right. That's right. And that one of the big ways that two different people, if there's someone who initiates in that fact findings, digging into research, and someone who is in the quick start and wants it just quick, give me the bottom line. If the fact finder is giving too much information, the quick start will quickly just get the deer in the headlights look. Glaze over.
Sounds familiar.
Done. Yeah. But, I had a situation where I was on a team And this was teleconferencing, and we were working on projects. And there was one woman who spoke very deliberately and very kind of long drawn out. And I would get very impatient, and I would just want her to just get on with it.
Land the plane, lady.
Yeah. But once I understood that she was definitely in the researching mode of gathering information,
okay,
I realized that was a great value to me, because I would never do that in-depth research. But if I ever needed the information, she would have it and I could go get it. She would share it. So it was like a 180 turnaround in how I related to her, because I went from being impatient because I didn't understand, to valuing what she could bring, how that could help, in our teamwork. It was just really, really amazing.
Again, eye opener.
Yeah.
Wow. So if someone were to think, okay, I've got a team like this and they're like all over the place, or maybe they've got a big project coming up and they need help in mapping it out. How would you work with them?
Well, that's kind of like part 2 of this system. In the program that I do, the way I implement it, there's the first is identifying your strengths. And then the second is understanding for yourself kind of how you apply them and need to do them. But then the next stage is aligning different people in a team for a project.
Okay.
And you begin to look at and evaluate all of the strengths of the team. Who does what? Who is good at what? And then from that, a manager can move people around. Even in jobs or just in a portion of a project, to give the tasks to the people who are going to be bringing their best energy and talent to it. But it clearly shows, it evaluates a whole team.
Okay.
Where everybody falls, where there's too much of one kind of initiating action and not enough of another.
Okay.
So it's very clearly laid out. That's reports, and it's all based on the Kolbe A, which is the initial assessment that everybody takes.
Okay.
There is a B index that an individual can take to understand how they see their job needing to be done, as opposed to how they would innately do it. And it can show up some conflicts within the person. The strain between what they do naturally and what they think they should be doing because of the job. And it clarifies that. And sometimes they'll change what they're doing or something based on that as well.
That sounds, is that where, you would have someone who maybe is the person that every Sunday night starts getting a migraine?
Yes, it is.
That felt familiar there for a second.
Yes. And I've been there, and I think that's part of the kind of thing that motivates me, is I know how bad it feels.
Yeah.
Because I've been in jobs like that I just wasn't happy, couldn't bring, good energy to it because it just wasn't the right fit. And you hate Sunday night, you get the headache, you hate Monday morning.
Yeah.
All of that. And that's an awful place to be. And if I can help somebody relieve that for themselves, their team. I mean, think of managers who have a whole staff of people like that.
Well, and you wouldn't know. Except for probably in results somewhere along the line, you're going to see that. But wow.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what if you're a manager and you just don't even know where to start?
Well, I really like to tell managers to think about the things that they wake up in the middle of the night worrying about. What's the people issues you're facing? What's going on? And truly, the first thing I want to do if I am working with someone or talking with someone about their work, I want to find out what their situation is, what they're up against, because I can't help them unless I know that. I can't just provide a product and say, here, this will solve all your problems.
Here, take this test.
Yeah, right. No, I want to know what you're up against, what you need, where you're going, what you're trying to accomplish, what you think is holding back on that. And I don't do business development. I don't do, how to increase your sales or your marketing problems. I'm dealing with strictly how are your people working together to do these other things and get where you want to go.
To be an effective team.
Yeah. But it all starts with talking to whoever's feeling the pain.
Yeah.
Whether that's an individual or a manager or a leader, business owner, whatever, to understand the pain of what they're dealing with in the terms of people.
Is this mainly for executive level or management level individuals, or can this be used in other positions and other jobs?
It can be used in anything, really. Any level. If an individual takes it on their own, then they can come in and say, I really understand now that what I am best at and what I have the most energy is this kind of work. And that can be a beginning of a conversation of, how do you know that? Well, I took this assessment and here we go.
So they could take that to their supervisor and say,
sure, because it's all positive. It's all things, and it's all about supporting the person in the process. Sometimes leaders, owners will want to do it to bring for themselves and maybe their initial leadership team, but then it will begin to work its way down as they see the value of understanding each other and how much more effective that is. It can really start at whatever level an organization wants to start at. And it's also useful for boards that are trying to accomplish things. I mean, if you have an active working board that is doing all the different tasks for the organization, for them to have an understanding of how to do that. I've worked with a couple of boards briefly on getting them to just see some differences in the talents and initiating ways people can help on their board. And of course, boards change just like employees change. So, but having a basic understanding of that can help them. Really.
Can you give an example of another example? You talked about the couple that are flipping houses, and are there other examples of people that you've helped or that you can see? Like, because I know when you talk about it, I can see you light up.
Sure.
What brings you joy?
The thing that does bring me joy is seeing when someone gets it, understands it, and starts to apply it in their situation.
Yeah. Tell me about someone who's done that.
Let's see. I have a friend who is a professional organizer. And she is very, very smart, very active in her work, but she needs to bring in people to help her. So she uses this. She will use it after she brings someone on board because she's not using the hiring component of it at this point. But once she has someone hired and in place, then she can have them take the A index and understand where their best talents are. She has people who are good at the packing part and handling stuff and just want to do the physical hands-on part. There's others that come in on the team who are good at working with the client when she can't be there. So they're a little bit more relatable on keeping the client informed or setting up appointments or just making sure they understand the process. There's, somebody who's good at keeping track of all the paperwork that's involved. Organizing, especially when you get into moves and estates, is very complex.
I bet.
There's a lot going on there. And so she has used that very clearly to understand which person on her team is going to be the best at a certain type of job.
That makes a lot of sense. I can picture if you didn't have that knowledge, you might just say, okay, this is a task that needs done and you're right in front of me. So you go do that task. And if they're the one that's good at talking with people and you have them packing things, they may not be as good at it.
That's right.
And certainly more frustrated with it.
Who aren't really good at handling physical objects are going to last or something.
Oh, that would be
yeah, that would be bad. So there are things to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and frustration all around if you're not in the right task and if you're managing a task to be done and don't have the right person on it, then that can be, it can delay you. It can be really bad all the way around.
Slows the project down, everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I switch gears and ask
Of course.
you? Okay, so we were talking about your favorite wine. Tell me again, what's your favorite wine?
Yes, my favorite wine is the Pouilly-Fumé.
Yum.
Different bottle this time.
Oh, nice.
I realized in preparing to talk with you, and I knew you had asked me about my favorite wine. The Pouilly-Fumé are the only bottles I've seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've got like 3 of them. And I just don't want to let go of them. I like them so much. And I'm not a big collector or anything, but just kind of found them in there.
Yeah.
But yes, that's my favorite. It's a white. And most of the time I prefer red wines. So a white has to be really special for me to thoroughly enjoy it. And this, I don't remember the person who introduced it to me, but it's a long time ago and it was at a party or something. I had this for the first time and I was like, yeah, this is great stuff. So yeah, it's kind of a treat to get.
Yeah. And it's a little bit rare. I mean, it's not easily found.
That's right.
You can find it if you seek it out.
You don't have to really seek it out. You go into, Total Wine or something and there's rows and rows and rows of stuff and maybe 3 bottles. It is. You're right. It's rare. It was the hunch.
Fumé, I believe that it is an oaked Sauvignon Blanc, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. It is a Sauvignon Blanc. It's just so particular to the region. I think one of the things about it,
And that's not typically oaked. I mean, you can find that grape other places. But this is, I believe the Fumé is the oaked version of it. And
you would know that.
Well, I should know that.
You get your researcher to look that up.
I will do that. Yeah, you can tell that I'm not that researcher, but I do love to do my research.
Of course, that's your gift. That's right. No, that is the one favorite wine I have. Other than that, I like different things. I tend to like drier.
Yeah, me too.
And whites. But then I guess I'm a recent convert to Prosecco.
Yes.
Which I never really knew anything about. The friends brought it into the world. And it's just fun.
It's very fun.
And compatible with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it's not Pouilly-Fumé.
No. And isn't it fun to kind of have a house wine?
Oh, yeah. Can I tell you what our real house wine is?
Sure.
It's the Kirkland Malbec.
Yes.
It's good.
The one with the mountains on the label. It's got, we've had that. It's good.
Yeah. And it's inexpensive.
Yes.
I would say cheap.
Sure. I'm not
but it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It really is.
Malbec's another one. I mean, you can find it, but it's
Yeah, and there's different ones. I mean, I've had this one. I've had the range of others as well. But reliable, just good,
Exactly. Okay, but
what?
Can you share the beer story that we talked about?
Of course. Beer's I don't do cocktails. I really don't do mixed drink. I just don't care.
Yeah.
But I like beer and I like wine. But I didn't like beer at all. I couldn't stand it until I was 40 or something. And I was working with costumes on a show. And we had to take them to a performance. And then, of course, you have to load out everything at night afterwards. And everybody's all overtired and overhot and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah. And this was in Florida?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it's
and
doubly
probably
hot
in the
and
summer.
humid. Yeah.
It was nasty. It really was. And it's like 2 a.m. or something, and you haven't had enough to drink that day anyway.
Yeah.
And water or anything.
Right. And you're going, and those costumes are probably nasty after a performance.
They are.
Yeah.
They really are. So I was just desperate for something to drink, and the only thing available was a warm Budweiser. And I thought, okay, whatever, I'm drinking this because I'm really thirsty.
You were so thirsty.
The first thing, I drank the whole thing. And after that, I like beer. I like beer now. And it's just really weird, but it's true.
I would have thought that would have pushed you the other direction.
I know. So somewhere, I always liked beer, but didn't know it. And this kind of showed me.
That did it for you.
Yeah, but I do not drink Budweiser beer normally.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably it.
That's a little heavy for me. Yeah.
There are others I like better.
Yeah. I say that's heavy for me, but I love a good, a black ale or, a stout. Oh,
I like Guinness. I like
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's good stuff.
Well, we'll have to share a beer or a Pouilly-Fumé someday soonish.
Absolutely. That would be very nice.
Just not a warm Bud.
No, we won't be doing that.
No.
No.
Oh, gosh. Susan, is there anything I forgot to ask you or anything else you want to share?
I think just, it's great talking to you. I appreciate the opportunity to share my work. I don't even think I told you my company name is Workstyle Consulting.
Right.
That's what it's all about. And, I do appreciate that. And of course, you're right. I am passionate about it. I'm enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. You light up when you talk about the stories.
Yeah. I think for a long time, I was kind of scared of the word passion because it seemed bigger than anything I could be.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Not in a different, So I thought, I don't know, passion. That's just like something up there, high up on the mountain or something. But so it took me a long time to get comfortable with that concept that I could be that.
What do you suppose contributed to that? I mean, were you reserved on purpose? I mean, were you trying?
No. I guess I just never, I think I didn't fully understand my talents and gifts and my way of enjoying relating to the world and let that free for a long time. For all the years I was dancing, I danced because dancers don't have to talk. Well, at some point in life, I got over that. So, it just, that was a personality change, big time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there's a big change going from South Carolina to New York City.
Oh, yeah.
And then to Florida is another change.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Wow. And I loved New York. I mean, I loved that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the energy and the shows and the culture.
Yeah. The variety.
Mm-hmm.
Different people.
Much, Susan. This was wonderful.
This was wonderful. I really appreciate the opportunity and fun talking to you. And I got to spend more time talking to you.
Yeah.
You.
Well, we will have fun. I'll be back down in Florida in January and we can share that drink. Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on another spirited episode of Penny for Your Shots. Conversations and cocktails with brilliant women. I hope you've enjoyed the intoxicating blend of wisdom, wit, and wonder that these incredible women bring to the table. Check out the show notes for links to resources referenced in today's episode. And remember to subscribe and raise a glass with me every Thirsty Thursday as we continue to serve up inspiration, celebrate resilience, and reignite the passions that set our souls on fire. If you've loved what you've heard, please share the podcast far and wide and leave a sparkling 5-star review to let me know your thoughts. It would also help tremendously if you would visit pennyforyourshots.com and subscribe to learn when new episodes are available and pick up my free recipe. In the meantime, remember that your story deserves to be served and savored. Cheers to your brilliance and of women everywhere. Until next time, keep sipping and experiencing life's extraordinary moments. This is Penny for Your Shots, signing off with a clink and a toast to us. Cheers.